Hi everyone, Dan McJunkin here with HoustonBuilders.com. Thanks for watching this video. So I just had a call from a builder, and a lot of you already know that I'm a lumber takeoff estimator by trade. I do this particular podcast and this particular directory at HoustonBuilders.com just because I appreciate our industry and I like giving back some of the knowledge that I've gained during my time and tenure. Now, as an estimator, from time to time, I'm called by builders that are inquiring, hey, we're missing material. Would you look into it? And it's, I think, natural for any estimator to be a little bit caught off guard. None of us want to miss material, so we take it very seriously, although we are human and things like that can happen, so I don't shy away from the investigation. Well, this particular builder, they called me just today, was asking why an entire garage was left off of the takeoff. He said, did you estimate that separately? And it's a pretty rare thing that a builder asks me to separate a takeoff into components like that. Typically, I provide a turnkey solution, basically everything from foundation through a dried-in structure on a single takeoff so that the builder can manage their material very well. But if it's a garage and the builder asks me to, hey, would you separate that? I certainly will. In this case, that wasn't the case. It hadn't come into our discussion, so I go through the list. Now, what I want to tell you, and the reason for this podcast, is that there are 5 basic reasons that you should be short on, or you could possibly be short on your estimate, your takeoff. And really any estimate related to the home for any function of it. Mine just happens to be primarily lumber. So the first reason, I get it out of the way because it could be the estimator. Maybe I made a mistake, and if that's the case, I stand up and say, I made a mistake, let's go back and regroup, recalculate, and I'll give you the updated takeoff. That's not the case here. And then there are other cases. One is loss due to weather-related damage. Maybe you had a tornado and it blew some of the material across the street. Maybe it's just lost forever. Maybe it was damaged due to weather. Maybe it got rained, lumber got rained on, and it began to warp and twist and was unusable. Doesn't mean the takeoff was bad. It just means you can't use the lumber. But still, you're short technically. Another could be what we call superintendent or builder misuse. That might be a builder that's building 10 houses in a row. The material delivery arrives, but they're short on another house. So the builder or superintendent says, don't deliver it here, put it across the street at another house. And forgets that he said to do that. That's called superintendent misuse. Another is trade misuse. Maybe a trade takes that lumber and cuts it into little pieces. That's a real problem for an estimator because our lumber is sized very specifically to the use. If it's a rafter and it's a long rafter, don't cut my long rafters into short rafters because now we have to go order a long rafter and we're going to have some extra short rafters left over. My instructions to my builders are always use the shortest material first and you'll have enough. So we could have trade misuse. We could also have loss due to theft. But what if, and this happens, believe it or not, what if the loss is actually because your trade borrowed some of your lumber to go finish another job? This happens a lot, especially if the framer that you hired has been doing work for another builder. That builder doesn't want to order extra punch-out material. He calls the builder and says, I'm not paying you until you punch this house out. So no problem. The trade throws 50 studs in the back of his truck, maybe some of those 2x4 16s on a trailer, and they leave. It looks normal. He's supposed to be on site, and moving material back and forth is no big deal. And it happens all the time where the builder B is paying for the house for builder A, and I guess maybe in a perfect world, builder C is going to pay for the punch-out material for builder B. So it can get really frustrating. And then, of course, we have unanticipated plan change. And this is where the plan got changed at the last minute. Nobody told the engineer, nobody told the estimator, and the builder just says, well, just make this room bigger. So naturally, we're going to be short material. In the case of my investigation on this particular house, I can't say exactly what's happened. In fact, I'm waiting for the builder to call me back. But I can say that I confirmed that the walls were estimated, the studs and top plate, toe plate were delivered, that the joists for the garage were 2x10s, whereas the house was 2x12. So it was very clear that we did deliver the 13 2x10 20s for the garage. And then I checked, there were 3 engineered beams. There was an engineered header. These are all APB power beams. And we had 2 in the middle of the garage to support the roof. Those were on the takeoff. Then I looked and made sure the rafters, hips, and ridges were on the takeoff. So I confirmed that the material was there. Now the other issue is, and this is really, I believe, the builder's first task, and that is, was the material delivered in the first place? Now, it doesn't happen often, but it can happen where a lumber company back orders material. Maybe they don't have enough on site in their yard when they have to make the delivery. They deliver everything they can. On the delivery ticket, they write BO for back order on the delivery ticket. And therefore, when it goes into their internal staff, they're supposed to recognize that the delivery was short. They set it aside, and when the material comes in, they deliver the balance of the material. That happens a lot, especially when we're dealing with very specialized material that is not regularly kept in stock. Now, in this case, he said, I don't have enough material to build the garage. That implies to me that something was missing. Something was either lost, stolen, borrowed, not delivered. But I did confirm that it was on the takeoff. So as a builder, your first step is, of course, you're going to go to the lumber company. They may actually require payment in advance. Some will offer terms if you qualify for credit. But either way, you need to be on site when that material is delivered. Now, this is a policy that 99% of all production builders require a superintendent's signature or project manager's signature on every document, every material that is received or delivered. And the reason for that is it's so easy for a lumber company to dump and run. Their driver sees nobody's around. They've got 2 other deliveries to make. They dump their material, they're off, and they're supposed to take that delivery ticket, even though it's unsigned, and they stick it within the lumber somewhere. Often the framer will pick that up and hand it to the superintendent when he arrives on site, but often it gets blown away in the wind. The builder never sees it again, and we have no proof of what was delivered. The other thing that can happen, I'm not saying it happened in this case, but it's a human error on the part of the driver for the delivery service, which not all delivery services are directly affiliated with the lumber company. And it is totally possible that a short order or an order of some material was delivered, just not delivered to this house. For that reason, builders should always have a policy of, number 1, don't deliver the material if I'm not there. You have that driver wait until I arrive. Number 2, that I don't pay for material that doesn't have a signed delivery ticket, not by the framer, but by the builder or his representative. And when it's delivered, here's the bottom line. It's incumbent on the builder to not just sign the ticket because the truck wants to take a dump. You want to literally count every stick on that delivery because, after all, you're responsible for where it goes after that. And you don't want to leave that up to your framer. You don't want to leave it up to the delivery truck driver. You don't want to leave it up to anybody but you or your representative. So my best advice to this builder that contacted me today, that I'm still waiting on his phone call for his own investigation, is you have to start from the first step, which is checking in your material. After that, once they cut the bands, once the framer cuts the bands on the products that were delivered, who knows what was delivered, how much, where it went. Because I've had it actually be the case where a neighbor built their kid a playhouse out of the lumber from the house that was being built in close proximity to his own house. He figured out the builder wouldn't notice. Well, every stick that we deliver on site has a purpose or it wouldn't be there. We don't just randomly send lumber. So you've got to guide, guard, and protect every element of your material. So this is just Material Management 101, and I really hope that this will make a difference to builders. Whether you're going to call me and ask me about it is perfectly fine. If I've done your takeoff, I'll be glad to go through and research my portion. So at least if I did make a mistake, I'm going to stand up and say, let's make it right. It doesn't happen often, but I'm human. And so the best thing a builder can do with my takeoff or anybody else's, by the way, is before you fully commit to it, investigate it. Mine will have a lot of detail intentionally placed there. So it's like a cut sheet on steroids, all kind of notes telling you why I did what I did. And then I give you the takeoff version that you'll send to your supplier so that you can question me ahead of time while there's still time to make corrections before you've paid for the lumber, before you've delivered it on site, and before something like this happens where the builder is really just flat-footed and has no idea why they're short lumber. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Once again, Dan McJunkin with HoustonBuilders.com. And if you want to know more about my estimating service, you can visit my website at residentialestimating.com, and you'll see some samples of my work to kind of back up what I'm talking about. And I think it's going to be unique to most builders. They're not used to getting this much data. In fact, most often from lumber companies, all they see is a quote. Often that quote is not even broken down by order point, like first frame walls, first frame joists, subfloor, and so forth. Which is the way that I always expected it when I was a builder, and I think it's the way that you should expect it too as a builder. Well, if I can help you in any way, feel free to give me a call at 832-277-7203 or send me an email at daniel@houstonbuilders.com. I'll be glad to get back with you, usually within the same day. And but I look forward to hearing from you, and if I don't hear from you again, I do appreciate you taking the time to look at this video and keep an eye on HoustonBuilders.com. It's a great place to find builders, their trades, their vendors, and I think it's a great resource for you. Let me know what you think. All right, Dan McJunkin saying thanks again.